Why a strong resume matters. So your resume is your first impression with employers. It's the first thing they see when sifting through applications. So you want to make sure your resume stands out. So a well-structured resume will help you stand out, from the formatting to the font that you use and the order in which you have your different items on the resume. So employers, they'll typically spend only 6 to 7 seconds reviewing resumes. So it's pretty quickly. You want to make sure yours stands out so that they do spend more time on your resume. And then, of course, a good resume is going to increase those chances of landing that interview. And with that, I just want to emphasize, as with the Pipelines and Pathways program, we do coach people in interviewing. So if you are not a participant of our program and are interested in becoming one, at the end of this presentation, we will have information on how you can become one.
So, what to include in your resume? And Elijah, if you can, yeah, just go ahead and click everything up on the screen.
Sir,
Um, so when we build resumes, we like to let everybody know that we have our main sections. Our main sections of our resume give our basic information, everything a recruiter or a hiring manager is looking to receive and look to see to learn about you. So you want to make sure you have your contact information section, a professional summary, work experience, education, skills, and then depending on what job you have an additional section to add volunteer experience and awards. So for contact information, we want to make sure you put your full name, your real name, please. We do have sometimes people put the nickname on our resume. We're looking for your real name. Phone number, hopefully to a phone that works. Email address, and then if you have a LinkedIn profile, you can attach your LinkedIn profile to your resume as well. I also like to let people know that if you have an email and it doesn't have an appropriate name, please consider creating a new email with a more professional title, something like your name with a couple of numbers at the end to give it a little individuality. Um, a story that I like to tell people when I was applying for college, my my high school email was Big C 619 at gmail.com. I had a college recruiter ask me, what does this C stand for? And I was like, I promise, it just stands for Big Claudio. But at the end of the day, I had to change that email because not everybody believed that. So now I have a more professional email, my name, and Claudio Otero 3222 at gmail.com. That's my professional email. Um, and then a professional summary, this is an important part because a lot of recruiters will sometimes look at this instead of looking at your experience just to get a gauge of what you're looking for in work. So for example, my professional summary on my resume says something like motivated and determined professional, seeking opportunities to apply my skills in customer service and leadership and contribute to the success of an organization. Eager to grow professionally and make a positive impact in the team environment. Something short, something sweet, but it also just gives the reviewer something to go off of when looking at your experiences. Um, in your work experience portion, you want to list all your jobs in reverse chronological order. So starting from your most recent job all the way down to the job, your first job. And if you have 10 prior jobs, do not list all 10 positions. List the most relevant positions for the job that you're applying for. Sometimes we'll get resumes that are 10 pages because it has all this experience, but sometimes the experience doesn't really match the job that people are applying for. So I would say your top 3 to 5 jobs, anything that you think, any job that has skills that are applicable to the position that you're going for. Definitely use bullet points. It helps make things look neat. And also just points out what your skills are, points out what you did in that position. It just and it's just appeasing to the eye. Um, when listing your work experience, make sure you include your job title, your employer, location, and then dates of employment. So you don't have to go back and find the exact date that you were hired, and you don't have to find the exact date that you may have left the job, but adding your month and the year that you were there, and then the month and year that you left helps a lot. That's what a lot of recruiters are looking for, just to see how long you stayed at a job and if you can be and they can hold you accountable and count on you to show up, really. Then, of course, we have our education section. Sometimes not everybody has their GED or their high school diploma. That's okay. If you have a certification in something else, you can add your certifications there. This is where sometimes people may add certifications like in Microsoft, a certified medical assistant or PCA certification. They'll add those in this education section. And then you want to highlight your skills, highlight all hard skills, soft skills, but make sure you use skills that show who you are as a person and show that you're capable of the job that you're applying for. And then again, that additional sections, if you want to show any volunteer work or show any awards or achievements that you've accomplished while in your previous positions, that's always a great thing to highlight. People love, love, love achievements and awards. So make sure you always just pay attention, even if you didn't run an award. If you had a small win at work and it looks great on a resume, still put that. That's an achievement.
Hey, Claudio, question for you.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between hard skills and soft skills?
That is a great question. Let me look through my memory bank.
I mean,
I want to. What's
so
up?
do you mind if I answer the question? Because
Yes,
people
yes,
might have this question, and I think it's really important to understand the difference.
absolutely.
So, hard skills are these are things that are okay, so let's start with soft skills. Soft skills are more personality traits, more, customer service oriented, team player, results driven. These are soft skills. And then hard skills are like things that you have certifications in. Maybe you're proficient in Microsoft Suite, so that includes all of the Microsoft applications. Maybe you're proficient in Canva or whatever the case may be. So that's the difference. Hard skills are tangible skills that are, tangible. And then soft skills are a little bit more about your personality, and your work ethic. Does that
And
make sense? Yeah, I just wanted to
yeah,
clarify that. I feel like,
yeah. Hard skills are more specific, like Elijah said. Like if you have Microsoft Office proficiency, or analysis in something. And then yeah, your soft skills a little more interpersonal, like communication, teamwork, critical thinking.
exactly. Yeah. All right. Next, we're going to be looking at the formatting tips for this professional resume. Keep in mind, there's only 6 to 7 seconds on average that a recruiter is going to be looking at your application. Uh, and, the time decreases the more candidates there are in the candidate pool.
Mhm.
So this is really important. So you want to make sure you're using a clean, easy to read font. This can be Arial, Calibri, Times New Roman. These are the typical fonts that we like to see on resumes. We don't want the, cursive and all that jazz. It'll just make it less appealing to the eye, especially when recruiters are trying to sift through applications quickly. Keeping it one page, unless you have extensive experience and you're applying to a really higher level position, one page is usually good enough. Um, and there are ways to format your resume to, I guess, fit the margins of the paper a little bit better, as opposed to having it condensed and not being able to fit as much information. And then using bullet points for clarity, it's easier to follow when reading through the resume. And then avoiding long paragraphs and excessive wording. You want to keep things concise and to the point, as they're not spending a lot of time on your resume. proper spacing and margins for balanced layout. This is going to make it easier for the recruiter to look through your work experience, your achievements, education, all that good stuff. And then saving your resume as a PDF as opposed to a Microsoft Word document ensures that no one can edit your resume, and it is what it is. Not that recruiters, I don't see why they would, but you never know, just to be on the safe side.
And then going back to those bullet points, showing bullet points on your resume again is more appeasing to the eye, but also really just um, highlights things that you've done in your previous positions. So in those bullet points, you always want to use action verbs to start each bullet point. Action words like managed, design, implemented, led, collaborated, established, analyzed, all those words. One tip I like to give people when if I'm not creating their resume and they choose to create it themselves, I like to tell them, look at the position that you're applying for. Look at the action words that are listed in that job description and make sure you put that into your resume so that when recruiters are looking at it, they see those action words and they can say, oh, okay, this matches what we're looking for. Or sometimes recruiters will scan the resume and that scan will look for specific words to point out whether or not they want you in that position. So always do research on the position that you're applying for and use some of the words that those job descriptions are adding into your action verbs and into your bullet points. Another important thing is always quantify the impact that you have at your position. So an example that Elijah has here, increased sales by 20%. That's giving a number that's showing exactly what you did. And it's giving somebody again a pinpoint to what you have accomplished. And then another one, train 5 new employees. Again, just giving a number shows what you have done. It shows that you have those capabilities to do the task that you are given. Um, Always encourage and focus on accomplishments and achievements, whether it's just even if it's not just your job duty. So things like strong, like assisted 50 plus customers per day, or resolved inquiries and improved customer satisfaction. And then a weak example of that is responsible for customer service. You don't want to give a weak example. You always want to elaborate a little more on what you did in that position so that you can highlight all achievements and all accomplishments you've had in that role.
Thank you, Claudio. And sorry for moving that slide through really quickly. My finger just slipped. But I wanted to add one more thing. So being able to quantify your impact, it really is an effective way to just demonstrate your value, and it highlights, your accomplishments in prior positions. So recruiters can really see the tangible impact you had on that company. Even if it's something simple like, training 5 new employees. It doesn't have to be that formal training. Let's say, for example, I in previous years worked at Kroger and I informally trained many employees on different tasks. I wasn't the formal trainer, but I did help them throughout different areas. And so that counts. And so you want to make sure you're really thinking outside of the box on where you had that impact. It doesn't have to be linear. Okay, I did this formally. Really, it's just thinking outside the box. How did I make an impact on this company? Just wanted to add that. And some common resume mistakes to avoid. So this is huge: typos and grammatical errors. If you're not the best at spelling, that's fine. I would, encourage you to utilize maybe Google to ensure that you are typing things correctly. There's also different applications such as Grammarly is really effective in catching misspelled words. And I'm pretty sure Microsoft Word by default and Google Docs by default have those spell checks. And then using a professional email address. I know Claudia already went over this, but you don't want to have, I've seen some really out there emails that you know, really what will cause you to second guess that individual just because of what they say. I'm not gonna repeat, what they are, but you want to keep it professional. I know Claudio shared his email and his professional email. I personally use a simple one. That's my last name and my first name, and then the year I was born. Uh, and so, that's simple, easy to remember. You don't want to have anything unprofessional. And then, listing outdated or irrelevant work experience. Claudio already went over this a little bit. Um, and so if you're one of those professionals that have 20 plus years or 30 plus years of professional work experience, anything that's irrelevant to the position is going to be a waste of time for the recruiter. You really want to make sure that they are spending their time looking at things that are going to deem relevant to the position. So that way they find interest in you. And then including personal information like your age, your marital status, and your social security number. Now, I haven't seen anyone provide their social security number on a resume, but I have seen people put their age and marital status. So definitely want to avoid doing that. Um, and I know it's controversial whether or not you should include a picture of yourself on your resume. I was taught to never do that. I know some people do it. I guess it all depends on the position you're applying to as well. But I think rule of thumb for the most part, you don't typically do that. Um, and then using vague language instead of measurable achievements. This goes back to using the quantifying your performance to show how effective you were and valuable to that company. So instead of saying, I helped a bunch of employees or I trained a bunch of employees, use a measurable number. I trained, and if you don't have the exact number, but you can ballpark it, I trained 20 plus employees as opposed to a bunch of employees. And then, Claudio,
And so yeah, so our next steps. So Elijah and myself, again, as opportunity navigators, we create resumes for individuals. So if you need a resume created or even a resume updated, we invite you to scan that QR code. It's an easy fill in the blank form that you can do either on your laptop or on your phone. And it basically outlines all the parts of a resume and all the information we would need in order to create your resume. Um, so yeah, we invite you to scan that QR code or uh, email us, and we can always send the QR code or send the form out to y'all through email. Um, and before we move on to our next slide, I'm trying to see how many people we have in here. We're gonna go into well, we
Claudio,
don't.
do you need me to stop sharing my screen or is it okay?
No, I think you're okay for right now.
Okay, just
Um, Well, we have less people than we originally had intended. So what we can do here, as a group, we're gonna go over some resume samples, and then we're gonna put into the chat, or you can unmute your mics if you feel comfortable with speaking, and just tell us what you see is wrong with the resumes that we're going to put up on the screen. So give me 1 second. Let me pull those up, and then yeah, Elijah, you can go ahead and stop sharing.
right. And this is everyone's opportunity to engage, and it's a fun little activity. Some of these resumes are questionable. See,
Some of these resumes are things that I've actually seen, which is
right.
uh
Oh
which
man,
is
I've
kind of crazy.
mhm.
All right, pulling those things up now. Laptop is running a little slow this morning. Thank y'all for bearing with me.
It's the snow.
It's gotta be. It has gotta be. Oh, wow. Okay. Can everybody see that on their screen?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. I can no longer see you all, so this is the resume we'll be looking at. Well, one of the resumes we'll be looking at. We'll take a couple minutes for everybody to look over it. And then once everybody is ready, you can either unmute your mics or put into the chat um, things that you see are wrong with this resume and how we can fix Miss Samantha Johnson's resume. Oh, a little disclaimer. These people are not real. These are not real resumes. This is something we put together based off of experiences from the past.
This is a professional summary. I'm just asking.
It's supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
It is indeed supposed to be. So, Christina, what do you see? What do you already see that's wrong?
Like somebody said in the chat, the birthday, you don't need to put that. Her favorite color, I don't think that's relevant. I don't know exactly who she's sending her resume to either, because nice to
Right.
people. A lot of stuff wrong with this resume. Are you supposed to put your address on here?
So some people do. I usually advise people not to, because you don't want to just shuffle your resume out with your address on it. But it depends on the person. Yeah, I don't like putting any addresses or personal information on the resume other than the phone number and email.
Yeah.
But some people do tend to put their address on there.
Yeah, I would just put your general location, like the city,
Yeah.
so that recruiters can see if you are able to, if it's an in-person job, and if you're located across the country, then they realize, okay, this person's going to have to relocate, and you know, so general location should be fine, but exact address could
Yeah, that
be a
was
little.
my next thing. The format is all off. Like,
Yeah, format is all.
They did use the right font, though. We'll give them that.
the spacing could be a little better too. I mean,
How could we change her skills section?
fast listener. Okay.
And those are, we have two soft skills and one hard skill. Nice to people. Maybe I think I would do customer service oriented or customer service
Yep,
skills.
yep. Customer service oriented. Um, can use a computer.
What
Yes,
what can you do? What
specific.
can you do on a computer? Right, exactly.
Right. What can you do on a computer? Are you good at Microsoft? Are you good at presentations? Can you answer an email? I mean, using a computer is very vague. All right, so y'all, we got everybody has a good handle looking at these resumes. So I'm gonna stop sharing real quick to pull up the next resume.
And for fast learner, I probably would have put adaptive or attentive
Oh
learner.
yeah, adaptability for sure. Okay, I'm gonna share now. All right, can everybody see this resume? Mr. Michael Brown.
456 Somewhere Avenue. Oh man, I am looking for a job because I need money to pay my bills. I would love. So I actually had somebody I was doing a mock interview with. When I asked them, tell me a little bit about yourself and why you applied to this position, their answer was very similar to this. I need money. We all know this. We all need jobs because we need money, but we really want to see how you can utilize your skills to be benefit to the position. You're passionate about it, and you have X, Y, and Z experience.
What other things can we see is wrong in this resume? Not everybody at once.
If you wish to share any promotions, that's funny.
So yes, he clearly he used a resume template and instead of just deleting the accomplishments section,
Uh,
uh he kept it on his resume. We can
again,
also look at I'm sorry, Christina, what did you say?
I was gonna say again the formatting because like I think you want to have the your dates of everything kind of lined up so it just a better format in general. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yes,
And
Laura,
we Yep.
education should be in reverse chronological order.
Yes, indeed. And
Good.
we see that he has his bachelor's of science in biology, 2.5 GPA, which I think is pretty decent. It's hilarious. That doesn't need to be added. But with the bachelor's in biology, instead of putting science stuff in his skills, he could have went a little more in depth on what kind of science stuff he's been a part of.
who
Yes.
created
Oh,
this? This is so cute.
I think for the
thank you.
experience too, they could have so answered customer service representative at Big Box. They say answered customer questions, restocked shelves, worked at the register, and helped in warehouse when needed. I would have broken each of those statements into bullet points and expanded on each one.
Yes,
And
indeed.
answered customer or questions to ensure uh, the drive or ensure that operations are going as intended. Restocked, uh, let's say how many shelves, maybe this is where you can add that
Mhm.
quantity. Restocked 20 and it's not well, it is past tense. Restock 20 plus shelves on a daily basis, maybe um, for X, Y, and Z, and then worked at a register. Um, you know, worked at a register and maintained um, customer service oriented. You know, the point is expanding on each one instead of having it listed out in one bullet point and separated by commas is it just makes it more difficult for the recruiter to see relevant work experience.
He can definitely take out. Sometimes I had to deal with rude customers.
Definitely don't want to.
That's not needed. That is not needed at all for any resume.
Yeah.
Before we move on, does anybody have any more? I mean, have any more suggestions or edits to this resume before we move into our final resume?
Anna said they would not include high school if they already have a post-high school degree. I agree. If you already have a
I
post-high
agree.
school degree, no need. I would
No
say
need.
if you have a master's degree, I would include your bachelor's degree, but I think for high school, you're right, not necessary.
Needed at all. All right. I'm going to stop sharing again to pull up our final resume. Thank you, everybody. Let's see. Johnson, Michael Brown. All right. Can everybody see Miss Emily Smith's resume?
Yes.
Perfect.
Great professional summary.
Yes, Lauren, there are many typos. Skills are very vague.
Once again, they forgot to delete the accomplishments section.
Now that might not have been Emily's fault. That might have been my fault.
Yeah, a lot of typos. I can't really read it. Too small font, maybe. Yeah, font could be increased, especially because of how condensed everything is. I think the
Nope,
biggest thing is just the misspelling. They could really benefit from Grammarly.
absolutely. Even though she has a bachelor's degree in English Lit, which is ironic.
You never know.
You never know. Um, I would also suggest for this resume, in the experience section, again, experience is spelled wrong, but where she wrote articles for the school newspaper, maybe she could have included a little more professionalism in that, giving her title, where she wrote articles for, what school, and then how long she wrote those articles for. And then
Is this the
yeah.
latest is this the latest format for a resume?
So no, this is one of our basic formats for a resume. I like to tell people format your resume based off of the job you're applying for.
Mm,
Okay.
So when I'm working with a lot of nursing students or individuals and that may have already had nursing experience before, I would have them highlight their skills in those nursing backgrounds, but also go ahead and attach your references to that resume. Sometimes in a nursing role, they're trying to get you hired as soon as possible. So sometimes adding those references onto your nursing resume will help speed that process up. But yeah, the format all depends on the person and also what your whatever position you're looking to acquire.
all right, Claudia, should we move on to the next section just for sake of
Yes,
time?
indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you all for your participation.
That was fun and interesting. Um,
It's
hopefully,
funny.
hopefully no one repeats the mistakes that were showcased. Um,
Yes, please don't.
I'm gonna
And if you
show
know somebody
y'all,
that does, send them to us.
yes, please. I'm gonna show y'all really quickly in a little hack, I guess you can call it. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can you all see um, the two windows with
Yes.
the board? So I've got here a resume for John Doe. Again, not a real person. But this is a good resume, and they want to apply. So I'm going to teach you all how to tailor your resume to a specific job. So keep in mind that yes, you'll have a resume, but you want to use language that is utilized in the job description and have it in your own resume where you see fit. So that way, when the recruiter and the hiring managers are reading your resume, they're like, oh my goodness, this is what we're looking for. This is what we need. This is in the job description. So John Doe wants to apply to a custodian position at the University of Virginia. So this is the job description here. And, I'm not going to read through it, but What I'm going to do is I'm going to go, and I'm sure most of you have heard of this, but Chat GPT is a artificial intelligence prompt that allows you to do pretty much anything and everything, and it's free. So I just Googled Chat GPT and I clicked on the first link. And this is what it looks like. You have a prompt here. You can ask it to do anything. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask ChatGPT to please tailor this resume, and I'm going to do colon. And then what I'm going to do is copy and paste this resume into the prompts, and it's going to look funky. It's fine. I'm going to then go down to the very bottom. And what I do to create another to enter is hold shift and then hit enter. Oops. And it allows me to go here. So I had tailor this resume colon, and then I have the resume, paste it in here. And I'm going to say to this job description and do the exact same thing. So I'm going to go here to the job description. I'm going to highlight just the job description. I'm going to copy and then paste it. And then all I do is hit enter and boom, here's a tailored resume for John Doe that aligns with the custodian position at UVA Facilities Management. So if we look here at the professional summary, it's tailored specifically to the custodian position, as opposed to what it had here, which was a customer-focused professional with food experience in food service and hospitality. And it does this for all the skills. So what it'll do is it'll take your work experience and generalize it, and then it is able to determine and kind of assume that you do have relevant work experience based on the job title and what you already have had done. So I wouldn't use this verbatim. I would go through it and I would make sure that everything does align and is true to your work experience. But for the most part, it's pretty accurate. So look, it'll emphasize anything that is related to the job position. So it's very helpful. And what I'll do here is I'll just take this and I'll copy and paste it into a Word document. And this is really important right here. So the font is okay, but you see how when you paste it, it's kind of spaced out. It's in 2 pages. Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight everything, and I'm going to remove space after paragraph, change the font to maybe 11. And what I was talking about the margins really early on in this presentation is I'll go to the layout, and this is in Microsoft Word. Click on the margins, and I'll narrow the margins so it pushes everything to the side. And look, boom, now it's all on one page.
Oh,
This
wow.
is this is a resume for custodian, and they are more likely to get an interview than this version because it meets those, the language is relevant, the job description. All right, I'm going to now pull up our presentation and we're going to finish off here strong, not from the current slide. So that is basically what I did, tailoring your resume to the job with ChatGPT. Final steps. So, like we said, we are the Pipelines and Pathways team. Claudio and I are a few of the opportunity navigators who assist individuals seeking employment both at UVA and outside of UVA, and we help you through every step of the way. If there are barriers that are hindering your ability to obtain employment, we will find resources to address those barriers. We will make your resume. We will do cover letters. We will do mock interviews. We're going to make sure that you are feeling confident and ready for interviews and work readiness. So if you need assistance crafting or refining your resume, we're here to help. Our contact information is our email, uvapipelines@virginia.edu. You can call us 434-962-3996 and visit our website. And this is all to prepare you all for our March 11th community and career fair. Claudio, do you have anything to add?
No, again, we just want to thank you all for being here. I dropped my UVA email into the chat for anybody looking to get in contact with me. Um, but yeah, we hope that we you take this information and it helps you prepare your new resume. And again, if you're unsure of how you want to create that resume, me and Elijah are here to help you create those resumes for you. And we hope to see you all at our career fair, March 11th. Well, let me rephrase that. We hope to see you there, but we hope to see you. You know, if you're looking for a job, great. If you already have a job, still come and say what's up.
Uh, Anna asked if this session will be emailed, like the recording will be emailed to participants.
I,
We
I
will post it on our social media platform on Facebook. So if you have a Facebook, follow us, Pipelines and Pathways UVA, and because I think it's going to be too big of a file to email, it won't even go
Mhm.
through. But we'll have it posted on our Facebook and I believe YouTube. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
um, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording now.